everybody. Spirit of 420, very late on the season, very late on the night, very late in general, but I've got a lot going on. And I'm not even going to be on very long. I just to come on and let everybody know that I am doing okay. I just have a lot happening that requires more attention than normal. So, again, I felt that it was at least appropriate to get out here and particularly let you folks know that I am doing okay. In fact, I'm doing good. I'm doing well, excuse me, to use proper English. I am unshaved like a biatch. And I have a lot going on because shaving has been the last thing on my mind. We did end up opening a company, and I think most people knew we were going to or knew about. So that has launched, and a lot of people may not understand, but I'm trying to keep that company and Spirit of 420 right now, at least in the beginning. I'm trying to keep them separate. And the biggest number one reason is I want the new company to make it on its own merit, and not because somebody liked it because they like me. I don't even have that many. I don't have the biggest follower. I'm not trying to be seated, but I've got around 7,300 on Twitter or whatever the hell that means, and close to 250 here. So I was just trying to do it without bias, right? And that, to me, no offense to anybody, but to me, that's I don't know. I think that's almost more important than how do I say it? There's so many products in this world that have already made it because they got pushed, right? They were shoved in your face or bought and put in your face because people wanted them to do well, right? For different biases, they were allowed to make it. In a world that not everybody makes it, even if you have something beautiful and a great product that helps people, right, and is cheap, that still is not enough. You have to market it, right? Oh shit. Oh, come on again. That's not going to be enough. Damn the man. Oh, there we go. All right. So again, that is not enough. You have to nurture it. You have to follow through. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when you have a new company. And one of the things I can tell you is it takes patience. That's still not hot enough. Damn. It takes patience, and it takes love, and it takes knowing, a little bit of luck as well. I won't deny that. I tend to forego the luck factor. If you actually have something that has a wow factor, right? Because lots of times the products that have made it due to luck, and what I mean by that is just luck of the draw, they were mediocre products and didn't, I mean, like you think about products that you've seen over the years and pushed. It's one of the things that it's hard for someone like myself and I'm going to explain what I mean by that, to even want to open a company. So just I want to take you back to 19. Now, understand at 19, I was a drug dealer. At that time, I was at best a peddler. A peddler in the drug dealing world. How do I say? They just sell enough. This is the way to describe them. A peddler generally sells just enough product for them to be able to use the product. Okay, that's a peddler. And that's the reason that they become a peddler. Like, most of the people would be selling a lot more if they were doing it for a business. So, 19, I was nothing more than a peddler. And I had no visceral experience of life to understand how some of my thoughts at 19 were extremely flawed. Now, one of the thoughts I want to bring to the table is let's go back to 1991, because that's when I was 19. That year was the year that Dances with Wolves came out. And it made a huge impression on me, right? First of all, I'm Native American. And secondly, like, just the story itself was overwhelmingly emotional, I felt. And it really, so it I don't know that this is what Kevin Costner when I say this, because I wasn't the only one, but in the simplest of terms, it made me hate America. I shouldn't say made. Let me take that back. It allowed me to hate America with a vengeance. So, at 19, I had this thought. This matters. I'm going to come full circle back to, here at 51, because that's 32 years later. 32. There you go. I had this thought one night after seeing Dances with Wolves for like second or third time, except this time, well, I shouldn't say except this time. The first 2 or 3 times, I should warn you, that I was on LSD. So it was much more potent to go see Dances with Wolves on LSD than just go to see Dances with Wolves, right? I was really dancing with the wolves. Well, all I can tell you is what I took from that, and it didn't make me, I allowed myself. What I took from that is the whole world that I was seeing around me was not what I intended to be, right? With the paved roads and the skyscrapers, and most importantly, big one, all this need for money, right? And there's still a lot of me that holds true to that. I set out on a mission to try to barter. That has worked out in the sense that I have bartered a lot, but it's not, they can barter their way to a home ownership, or at least not easily. Let's just put it that way. I take that back for anybody who just, oh no, you could do it. Yes, you could. You could trade long enough to end up getting a home. I know that, because people have gotten cars. If you have a car, you can keep going the full mile and get a house. So I'm not going to dispute that. But it was never my way of life, because most people were not keen to it. So again, at 19, I was very pissed off at America. And I was very against money or selling anything, because America, one of the reasons I was so pissed off is we were such a consumer-based society, right? And you can quibble about it all you want, but we consume. We buy and we consume. We consume so much. I am guilty of it. I have so many things in my home I've never even opened. That's because I'm American, I'm actually about to start selling a lot of those, most likely. But still, the point is, never even opened. And it wasn't to collect them. I'll be clear on that. It wasn't like toys that you buy, you don't open. These were things that I bought to do and that just have not done. Okay. Haven't opened, haven't played. I barely played with my new drone that I got and took it up because I was so frustrated with some of the things that I learned in flying it. But that's another story. I was disgusted with money at 19. Now, funny enough, 2 years later, I turned into a full-fledged drug dealer and was now making money and using it to support myself, hence becoming a drug lord at the time I was 22, 23. So then I went from hating money in America to absolutely loving money in America for different reasons, if that makes sense. I kind of left that whole, whatever you want to call it, life behind me, right? I was like, okay, I'm just completely sell out and dive into making money. Well, after I got busted, and y'all back and watch the previous episode, after I got busted, it was very simple. I decided to that I didn't really want that life, right? And I had the luck that I had in my salesmanship, if you will, and it was mostly not luck, but because I did so many things correctly, I got out of felonies. So I never had that sting or stain of being a felon as I decided to change not just lifestyle, but industry, right? I mean, that's a huge, going from being a drug dealer to being legitimate is a big difference. Now, I understand this. The whole time that I was a drug dealer, I always had a cover job, and that cover job was always sales based because I had been in sales since I was 14. And now you can maybe put together, I was been in sales since 14. By 19, I really was disgusted with everything. But then by 21, I realized, hey, if I discuss everything, I'm going to live on the streets, and I don't want to do that. So for me, it was a pretty easy decision. So I got busted. As I said, I got through it. As I said, it changed my life because I decided to go completely legit. And my goal at 26 was that if I did it here, right, in the essence of the drug world, then I can find the right product to at first peddle and then eventually create, right? Because if, the one thing I'll tell you, and I'm not getting into it, my friends and I and the other dealers that I was with, we developed these 5 stages of drug dealing. And the first one is the peddler, like I said. The last one is the guy growing the weed, right? That's the farmer. So I went through all the phases. So did my. Coming out of it, I learned a lot about sales. I'm not going to deny that. And truly learned the concept of supply and demand in a very, I don't know, aggressive, I guess is the right word, aggressive environment, right? If you don't have what they're demanding, you don't have that supply, that can get really ugly when you're in a drug business. I'm just telling you. Not necessarily ugly against me. I'm just like the way that these, that people get, it's just ugly. So I made a decision at around 26, 27. It was just before I met the woman who I ended up falling in love with and had kids with, SOS. You've heard me talk about her. But that promise to myself was, I'm going to do that again one day with something else. That's what and not, the idea wasn't to wait 25 years, but hey, here we are. Now the problem is there's still this young little hippie in me, the Native American in me, who's still extremely upset. It's almost like subconsciously speaking, I beat myself up for making money. And what's funny is the last job that I had, I did really well. And I'm not even going to talk about how much money I made. That's not the point. The point was, I felt okay about it because I felt okay about it because I was taking money from attorneys. And some of you probably laugh, and you laugh for the reason, because I had no problem in taking money from an attorney, considering how much money they take from us, right? It was the way I looked at it. Plus, I'm helping them. The things that people buy from me make them more money, right? They usually come with an ROI somewhere at a minimum of 3, right? Just so that it's a profitable program, but generally, more speaking, like 5 to 7, even in the upwards of 8 or 9. Which is a good ROI on your money, by the way, folks. I bring this up because today I had a really tough day, and I was doing orders for this new company. And in the shortest way of saying it, I got the news that this new company that I was doing, had been, I know this may sound something stupid and small to you folks, but I got the news that our Google Maps listing was live, which means I could start getting reviews, and reviews are huge in this world, right? The world that we live in right now is based on the reviews, and anybody who's tried what I have loves it. And so I just haven't had a way to get those reviews. I did get them for the website. I started doing them, but that's not the same as when you search our name and Google spots up with a bunch of reviews, right? I'm also working very diligently to try to get on Yelp. So one is Google, right? And the other one is Apple, just so everybody knows. That's the only reason that I even care about being on Yelp anymore. It's just because that's Apple stuff. But to give you an idea of where I'm at, I over the break between the end of season 5 and the beginning of season 6, I thought I was going to get this job, and I didn't. And it's funny because right when I didn't get, I'm going to come back to the money. I promise. I'm coming back to it. Right. I guess I should say this before I go any deeper. I'll say this. When I read that email, I burst into tears. Not happy tears. Right. Tears of fear. They were tears of fear. I try to tell people who I was. I try to, people don't understand the karma that I'm paying, right? I was a real piece of shit. I truly believe that part of me being a piece of shit is why he was taken from me. Because I was not just a piece of shit, but I'm pretty sure that someone along the way, due to knowing me, died. That's all I'll say. Did I ever kill anybody? No. But I was in a business that was harsh, and it's very possible. Do I know? Do I have knowledge that either my actions or me selling or anything like that consummated? That's not for sure. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And this company, we're doing it for all the right reasons. And I mean that. For all reasons. It's literally money I got from his insurance, and it actually helps people, and it's expensive. So to come back, and you'll understand what I was talking about over the break, I did not get this job. And I was really, really wanting it. It was a good base, came with benefits. In essence, if you're paying attention, and I don't mean that in a rude way, I'm just saying, the job guaranteed the money for my life and my livelihood and my kids' life, right? My mother's life, the family that I take care of. But what's funny is the moment I didn't get that job, my mother came to me and she's like, hey, you weren't supposed to get that. And then you'll understand where all this is going. But she's like, you weren't supposed to get a job. If you got that job, then one more time you would go out there and sell millions of dollars of somebody else's product, somebody else's dream, which I also heard over the break. And I realized she was right. It was funny because I immediately thought about it. If I'd gotten the job, all these hours that I've been spending on this other project would have gone away. I would have, first of all, had to completely learn their project. There would have been a period of whatever you want to call it, but what's the word? I'm not talking about just getting to know you, but there would be what's called a curve period, which means, usually 30 to 90 days. I usually cut it down to 30. I cut it down typically even quicker than that. And I believe I would have. That's part of the appeal of hiring me. But I realized that I wouldn't have had any time. Well, what I have done for the other company and the steps that I have already made and the things that we have done is pretty awesome. And most likely they would not have happened because I would have been balls deep in living my life. And what I mean by that is that job is where I would put all my attention, almost all of my attention. I would still pay attention. I wouldn't completely ignore everything, I promise you. But the bulk of my attention, more than probably 50% of the day that I can put towards working would go towards another company. Now that time goes towards our company and making sure that we make it. And if it gets a little rough for a while, that's okay. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That's a good one. And you are absolutely 100% correct. And what ends up happening is many times the path that you truly need to be on is scary. It's with less security, which is part of why it's scarier times, and here's what's funny. Part of the reason I cried today, to come back full circle, right? I know this company and what it's capable of, and I know what's happening. I know how it's the reviews are just, it's been, almost head spinning, right? And so the monster that I once was is there, but I'm not going to fear it. I'm not going to sit and give in to that fear. Yeah, there you go. Good one. It's fucking terrifying most of the time. I totally agree, Zen. Especially if you're on your path, because the only thing you have to go on, and what I believe is faith that you're doing the right thing. Because even when you make a mistake, if you believe no coincidences and you believe there's no, sorry if I tapped it. If you don't believe in mistakes and you don't believe in coincidences, then, technically speaking, and I'm not trying to twist it, but technically speaking, there really is no right or wrong. There just is. It's just how it is, right? And that doesn't mean you don't have good days and bad. I'm just saying when you have a mistake, you look at it and go, okay, this wasn't a mistake because I'm going to learn A, B, and C from it and now move forward. right? And I've really gotten good at that over the last, particularly the last decade. I started trying to learn it back when I was in my 20s. Funny enough, I was horrible at it back then. I was also horrible at listening to any kind of criticism from anybody, much less myself. Bottom line is, as dirty and gross as I am right now, because I've been working my ass off today. Um, I wanted to come on here and thank y'all for just the fact that people, you know, even if it's only one person, man, that's what I said in the beginning. Even if it's only one person, I know I'm helping people, and that's all I can do is try to be the best effing version of me that I can be today. And as I have explained it before, 46, 50 some odd years, or 40 to almost 50 something years, I was not of this mindset. So to me, I was a dickhead up until I decided to be doubly nice for the remainder of the time that I have here, which is maybe 50% of what I've spent here. I'm 51, so I might have 25 years left. Just do the math. So, I might have a third of what I've spent is left. That's clearly less than half, right? So if I was a dickhead then it's double time nice now. It was funny. I was talking. Oh, Sin's got a new comment. What'd you say? I've always compared it to playing a new game with no rules, sandbox style, but with consequences. Yeah, you remember my sandbox theory, right? Hopefully you do, Zin. I'm not going to bother saying it again right now. I should have I'll probably end up doing one that's just on my sandbox theory and call it that. But yes, I totally get that. One thing that I have learned, and I had to get it out of me, and maybe that's why I just broke down in tears this afternoon when I read that, but I had to get that out of me, because if you fear something, you create it. And let me just say this: my number one fear used to be losing a child. It's not a coincidence. I don't believe in those. And even if you do, you're not going to convince me that it is. Everything happens for a reason, and it all happens the way it's supposed to. What I have gained already, and it hasn't even been a year, just to remind everybody of that, October 22nd will be a year. What I've already gained since losing him is two, not more than this, but at least two very dear, sweet women who now look at me as a pops or father figure, if you will, and I totally look at them like daughters that I never had. One was his secret lover, and the other one was the woman that tried to save his life. That's huge to me. No, I don't have Skylar with me, and that hurts, and that's never gonna not hurt, right? I can be okay, and I can move on. Anything you go through, without fail, I would venture to say, that causes you pain, try to look at it in that way. Like it's probably never gonna stop hurting. All right. But every day away from it, the pain dulls. Number one, forgiveness hopefully is usually kicking in with some of you. I hope you are, because I have learned is if you hold on to nastiness against others, that is worse than anything else you could imagine. You must forgive. You must move on. It's not forgetting. That's where the hurt comes in. That's why it's never going to stop hurting, because you're never going to forget it. But as you forgive and the days count off, then you can forgive and move on so that it is not destroying your life. And I promise, if you hold on to that hate and that anger, it will do just that. Part of the reason I was such a dickhead was because I was angry and hurt at the world. There's more to it. We'll talk about it next time, because I'm getting ready to get off here. It's been 30 minutes. I think it's been a decent enough season premiere to know that, for y'all to know that I'm okay. I did get through it. I do believe in the success of what we're doing, because it really does. It literally, I'm not going to, I'm trying to have it build itself on its own merit. I don't know if I already said that, so I'm not going to sit and plug it until probably 5-6 months from now on my own show. But it helps people. It brightens and lifts their moods. It relieves multiple things, and I don't want to give it away, so that's as much as I'll say. But all I can tell you is it's really amazing, and it's fucking cheap, and it warms my heart. Like, I was talking to 3 different people today while on speakerphone, and my mom was standing there, and they were like, da, 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 and they were just going over all the awesome things of it, because I'm trying to get people to send me reviews, right? And it was almost brought me to happy tears. Completely different time of the day. So all I can tell you is I know everything is going to work out. Doesn't mean, when you're on the right path and everything's going to work out, that doesn't mean that you don't still get stressed or suffer anxiety of, where will this dollar come from? You just have to keep doing. And as long as you work and you don't give up, it always works out. All I can tell you is I've been doing this now for 51 years, and I've never given up. And I've always had the attitude that I must work for what I get. And bottom line is, I get there no matter what. Sometimes it's by the skin of my teeth, folks. Sometimes, I've, just to be very frank, I've gone into debt where, got booted out of the house, but I'm still here. I've lived on the streets. I've had to bum, homes with friends, but I'm still here. On the same note, I have given my home to friends, right? What you do, it really does come back to you, and you have to look at it and go, okay, when somebody asks me, most of the time I'm like, because if I can do it, if I'm in the means of doing it, and I have the space and I have the money, then I will do it. Same thing somebody did for me, So anyway, I love all of you folks. I really do. Remember that you are incredibly special. Remember that not only are you special, but you're part of this puzzle. The reason 6 degrees of separation means what it does is because when you do something, it is felt all the way around the world through only 6 degrees of separation. That is where the butterfly effect literally comes from. They build on one another. Okay. And think about that, because everything you do matters. You are a beautiful, awesome individual, and it does matter that you're alive. Thank you very much, Zins. It definitely matters that you're alive. And now that season 6 has started, I'll probably reach out to you and see about having a smoke session sometime, brother. If you're down, if you're down to clown. On that note, I am going to wrap it up. I hope that all of y'all have a beautiful week. Barring injury, I will be on the 27th. I will be on again the 29th, which is Friday. I believe I'm going to have a guest on Friday, but I want to make sure before I want to solidify it up before I totally. Whoop. Ay, ay, ay. Stupid camera. There we go. Geez, that was just ridiculous. Anywho, I believe I'm going to have a guest for Friday. So just look out for that. And I'll be here Wednesday no matter what. I love all of you. Have a beautiful, blessed evening. Please take care of yourselves, and please take care of your loved ones. And, one of the most important things, I've really been on it lately. Everything will work out if you simply love yourself. Love yourself, and everything else will fall into place, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the big thing or whether you believe in somewhere in the middle. If you love yourself, It will all work out. Have a blessed evening. See you on Wednesday. Peace.
I switch hit, I'm a strange fuck. Consistent ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day is swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.